Good morning, everyone. I'm Grail Peña together with my group mates, Elsa Iclarinal, Jose Enchong, Bernadette Obuyes, and Sophia Sosa. And we are the Sleeping Beauty to present to you the environmental health hazards.
The bisphenol A is a chemical produced in large quantities for the use primarily in the production of polycarbonate plastics and epoxy resins. It is one of the highest volume chemicals produced worldwide, with 8 billion pounds produced each year and 100 tons released into the atmosphere by yearly production. The data from multiple sources indicated the amount of BPA to which humans are exposed may cause adverse health effects. The research has linked even low-dose BPA exposure to cardiovascular problems including coronary artery heart disease, angina, heart attack, hypertension, and peripheral artery disease. BPA has the potential to affect the developing brain during gestation, breast and prostate cancer, and asthma. There are other means of exposure, using a harsh detergent, high-temperature liquids, or products that contain acidic liquids to clean containers. Thermal paper and carbonless paper may also contain varying levels of BPA, which gets into the hands and finger. Thermal paper is commonly used in movie theater tickets and labels. BPA probably enters the system when the fingers are placed in the mouth rather than through the skin. Also, the dental sealants can also contain BPA. People are commonly exposed to low levels of BPA when they consume food or water that has been stored in containers made with the chemical. It is difficult to avoid BPA because it is so prevalent in the environment, but some tips can help to minimize exposure. Check for a BPA-free label on foods and packaging. Buy and store foods in glass jars, not plastic. Use fresh, frozen, or dried products, not canned. Avoid microwaving foods in plastic containers. Do not wash plastic containers in the dishwasher or use harsh detergents on them. Choose wooden toys instead of plastic. One study has suggested that after just 3 days of eating a fresh food diet with no products taken from a can of plastic packaging, the levels of BPA in participants' bodies fell significantly.
Neurotoxins are synthetic or naturally occurring substances that may damage, destroy, or impair the functioning of the central or peripheral nervous system. Neurotoxins may damage neurons' actions that may also cause two metabolic imbalances that can secondarily affect the central nervous system. Neurotoxins substance that alters the structure or function of the nervous system. More than 1,000 chemicals are known to have neurotic effects in animals. The substances include a wide range of natural and human-made chemical compounds. Neurotoxins are absorbed through inhalation, injection, skin contact, or injection that can have immediate or long-lasting impacts by causing neurons to malfunction or by disrupting interneuron communication, slurred words, or poor coordination due to the toxic effects on neurons from alcohol consumption. Certain neurotoxins are highly potent and have been developed into chemical weapons. The nerve agent sarin, for example, is an organophosphorus sarin gas compound that is classified as a weapon of mass destruction. Sarin gas can kill a person within 10 minutes of exposure. In elderly individuals, a decline in neural function associated with aging can limit the ability to cope with the effects of neurotoxins, particularly for those who compromise liver metabolism or impaired renal function, which are the primary routes of toxin clearance from the body. The natal, postnatal, and early childhood exposure to certain chemicals can result in permanent damage to the developing brain, causing functional deficits that may become apparent immediately or that emerge later in life. Neurotoxins are the major contributors to the prevalence of neurobehavioral disorders. The impact of some neurotoxins such as lead and ethyl alcohol are well documented. Fetal alcohol syndrome, characterized by brain damage and development delays in children, has been known since 1970s to occur in children born to alcoholic mothers.
mutagen is a physical, chemical, or biological agent that causes mutation by altering the genetic material which possibly results in a disease condition. In a simple language, we can say that mutagens are the agents that damages a genetic material, usually DNA, and results in genetic abnormalities either inherited or non-inherited. There are three types of common mutagens are observed in the nature: physical agents, chemical agents, and biological agents. Physical agent consists of heat, radiation, and chemical agents. Base analog, it includes intercalating agents, alkylating agents, deaminating agents, metal ions, and biological agents. Lastly, bacteria and transposons for the viruses. The effect of mutagens are genotoxic to humans, which makes it harmful to our DNA in many ways, some directly and some indirectly. At the chromosomal level, the mutagens can alter the structure of the chromosomes as deletion, duplication, insertion, translocation, monosomy, and non-disjunction are some of the chromosomal abnormalities produced by mutagens. The mutagens also affect or dysregulate the replication, transcription, and translation of the molecular central dogma process. At the molecular level, the mutagens create different gene mutations, result in loss of function, altered function, or non-functional protein. It also alters the codon, deletes bases, alters bases, breaks hydrogen bonds, and changes gene expression. Some mutagens dysregulate cell proliferation and cell death process, and thus cause cancer. These are called carcinogens. Biological mutagens slower down the DNA repair process. Some of the common types of mutagens based on the effect are enlisted as: teratogens are the cause of the mutagens which causes congenital malformation. X-rays, valproate, toxoplasma are the common physical, chemical, and biological teratogens respectively. Carcinogens are the class of mutagens induces tumor formation and thus cause cancer. A wide variety of agents are categorized as carcinogens such as X-rays, UV rays, aflatoxins, and retroviruses. Plastogens are the class of mutagens responsible for chromosomal breakage, deletion, duplication, and rearrangements. UV rays, bleomycins, and HIV viruses are the common types. Other non-specific mutagens are responsible for DNA damage and non-functioning of the DNA repair pathway. X-rays, heat, and toxoplasma are the several non-specific mutagens. Mutagens are useful since the scientists are using various physical, chemical, or biological mutagens for various purposes. The heat method is used during the polymerase chain reaction for denaturation of the DNA. This facilitates single-stranded DNA for various applications. The UV rays are utilized for decontamination or sterilization processes in genetics as well as microbiology. The UV light destroys all the bacteria or viruses present in a culture room or laminar food. Carcinogens and teratogens are used in cancer research. Our transposons are used as a vehicle for transferring a gene of interest at a particular location in the genome. Thus, it is used in a gene therapy experiments.
So what happens when you have an allergic reaction? When an allergen makes contact with the surface on or in your body, nearby immune cells, it acts quickly to destroy the allergen. The cell then covers itself in broken pieces of the allergen and moves to a site of some lymph tissue. And when it gets there, it passes pieces of the allergen onto even more immune cells. They can work together to form an antibody called immunoglobulin E. If the body comes into contact with the allergen again, these antibodies, which are proteins designed to attach to foreign substances and remove them from your body, will start a reaction to fight against it. First, they activate a part of the immune system which called mast cell, which expels a lot of chemicals like histamine. When histamines are released, they make your capillaries, the smallest blood vessels in your body, more permeable, which allows white blood cells to enter the capillaries and fight the allergens. Similar reactions can occur to some chemicals and food additives. However, if they do not involve the immune system, they are known as adverse reactions, not allergy. An adverse reaction is defined as an undesired, harmful effect resulting from a medication or other intervention, such as surgery. An adverse effect may be termed as a side effect when judged to be secondary to a main or therapeutic effect. It is said that when you have an allergic reaction, you experience sneezing, coughing, and itching. Allergy occurs when a person reacts to substances in the environment that are harmless to most people. These substances are known as allergens and are found in dust mites, pets, pollen, insects, ticks, molds, foods, and some medications. Atopy is the genetic tendency to develop allergic diseases. When atopic people are exposed to allergens, they can develop an immune reaction that leads to allergic inflammation. From the previous slide, I already discussed which area of body is affected. People experience different symptoms depending on the allergen and where it enters the body. In the case of eyes, nose, and throat, the release of histamine causes the lining of the nose to produce more mucus and become swollen and inflamed. It causes the nose to run and itch, and violent sneezing may occur. Eyes may start to water, and people may get a sore throat. In the case of lungs and chest, when an allergen is breathed in, the lining of the passages in the lungs swells and makes breathing difficult. On the stomach, cow's milk allergy in infants may occur and can cause eczema, asthma, colic, and stomach upset. Some people cannot digest lactose or milk sugar. Lactose intolerance causes stomach upsets but should not be confused with allergy. And problems may occur. It can be triggered by allergy include atopic dermatitis or eczema and urticaria or hives. Most allergic reactions are mild to moderate and do not cause major problems. However, a small number of people may experience a severe allergic reaction called anaphylaxis, which requires immediate life-saving medication. Allergens which may cause anaphylaxis includes foods, insects, and medications. People with a severe allergy should have an ASCIA or Action Plan for Anaphylaxis. Allergen avoidance or minimization relies on identifying the cause of the allergy and taking steps to reduce exposure to the allergen. For example, reducing dust mite in the home may help reduce symptoms in people who are allergic to mites. But there are medications used to treat allergies includes antihistamines, intranasal corticosteroid nasal sprays or INCS, combination of these two, INCS and antihistamine, and medicated eye drops.
Teratogens are drugs, chemicals, or even infections that can cause abnormal fetal development. Teratogens can be found anywhere. There are different agents of teratogens. First is a physical agent, such as hyperthermia, or the core body temperature is greater than 38.5 degrees Celsius. We also have maternal health factors such as diabetes. Some women have diabetes before they get pregnant. Aside from birth defects, high blood sugar throughout pregnancy increases the women's risk of having a cesarean delivery and risk of babies being born too large. Environmental chemicals such as polychlorinated biphenyl that can be found in eating contaminated fish, meat, and dairy products. In general, if medication is required, the lowest dose possible should be used, and combination drug therapies and first trimester exposures should be avoided. Most organ systems are subject to physiological changes during pregnancy. That's why women need to be precautious as absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of drugs also changes. The genetic susceptibility of the fetus to a particular teratogenic agent will also have an effect on the final outcome. The leading preventable causes of birth defects and developmental disability are smoking and alcohol. It is the most common non-genetic cause of mental retardation in the United States. Since alcohol is broken down more slowly in a fetus than in an adult, Alcohol levels tend to remain high and stay in the baby's body longer. Fetal alcohol syndrome is a condition in a child that results from alcohol exposure during the mother's pregnancy that can cause brain damage and growth problems. Alcohol in the mother's blood passes to the baby through the umbilical cord. Smoking also doubles the woman's risk of having a premature and low birth weight, as babies face an increased risk of serious health problems during the newborn period and have a chronic lifelong disabilities such as cerebral palsy, mental retardation, and possibly death. In addition, almost 3% of pregnant women use illicit drugs such as marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, and heroin. These drugs can cause low birth weight, withdrawal symptoms, birth defects, and learning or behavioral problems. We have two kinds of drugs, namely hard drugs and soft drugs. Cocaine, heroin, and ecstasy belong to hard drugs. The consequences of using drugs include heart attacks, respiratory failure, strokes, and seizures. On the other hand, marijuana and cannabis products belong to the soft drugs. Even though soft drugs are less harmful, it has been proven to cause behavioral and cognitive problems in the child.